I want to talk to you as somebody who has lived this experience. Broke by choice is one of my stories. I know every one of us, when you are broke, you know how angry you are. And anger is a manifestation of mental health crisis. You know you're struggling. I've been there myself, guys. I know what it means. You buy chicken and chips for a chick, and then for you say you're okay, then you take water. And then the remaining balance you give for her for transport, and then for you walk. Then after walking, you find the guys who make rollers and the commando. You beg them to give you on credit, but you made some investment somewhere. It can be a credit, I know. And then after that kind of investment, and then you hear that it is over. You hear that it is over. Nobody seems to care about you. Nobody seems to be there for you, and you're struggling on your own. And this rejection can come from family members, this can come from parents, this can come from relatives and friends, this can come from all sources. I've been there myself. And besides, the monster that affects many of us students here. When you see this head lowered down, it means it's heavy, right? It's heavy with so many worries, with so many unanswered questions, and you're asking yourself, God, why? And the sometimes you find is only tears rolling through your eyes. But that's life. That's why we're saying anybody can go through a crisis. You're not alone. Therefore, but the answer is there. Seek for help. Seek for help. I'm going to address a subject matter still connected to mental health. Why? Because mental health issues trigger alcohol, drug, and substance use. And I'm very convinced, even amongst the students here, I have customers here. A good number of candidates having fun with what is here. Some of you could be here. Some of you are competing with the gods right here. Trying to compete with the gods in eating some green leaves without boiling. Some of you could be struggling with alcohol and stuff. That's why we're saying, please, all these are because of mental health crisis. Addictions are normally caused because of a crisis. And when this crisis is not addressed, things fall apart. That's why we want to see how can we help. And please, I want to call upon all of you who are here, ladies and gentlemen, plus fellow sisters. Please, at all times, when you feel a challenge, reach out for help. So, Dilapa TB is still my English name, sorry, my Lugala name, that is still my English name. And we serve with the voice of restoration. So, that's what I'm saying right there. Please say no to drugs, because drugs come from all sources. In West Nile and Arua City in particular, even I'm sure here in Muni University, we have drugs in all the 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, and gaseous. And in one way or the other, there could be some students who are struggling but in silence. And here we are saying, please don't suffer in silence, but rather reach out for help. Because support is there. We can actually support you. We can actually help you achieve your dreams. You can still make it. That's why one of my promises in the book of Overcome Rejection is to help you turn your business dreams into reality. All of you have dreams, right? All of these students here, you have dreams. And sometimes these dreams are affected because of the circumstances that we go through, because of the conditions that we go through, because of the challenges that we go through. But you can still turn those dreams into reality. That's my point. Amidst whatever challenge that you're going through. So drug is not the answer, and that's why we're here. Looking at our session today, I want to focus on this outline, where we look at what a drug is, we look at what a substance abuse looks like, We look at the stages of drug addictions and abuse. We look at why students actually abuse. And then, of course, the common abuse of drugs, dangers and effects of these drugs, and then how do we prevent and how do we treat. But you take it, and sometimes when you take it overboard, that becomes misuse or abuse. For example, we all know when you have malaria, you might be given some quarter. And when you're given this quarter, you must take 4 one day, another day you take 4, the last day you take 2, right? But by any chance, if you decide that, I want a quick reaction to manage this, and then you take all the 10 and swallow once, that becomes abuse. Yeah? And then also, once you take this substance, then 3 things must happen. It must interfere with, number 1, your body. It must interfere with your mind. It also must interfere with how you interact with other people. That's why we're addressing these issues. Because once somebody abuses drugs or substances, what happens is 3 things. Number 1, that substance will interfere with the individual's body. It will affect the body. Number 2, it will affect the mind. Number 3, it will affect how you relate with other people. That's why some of you, after you take a substance, we know. Because number 1, the way you walk. In the Lubara, we say you walk parasitiously. Now, walking parasitiously means you walk parasitiously. So that means you walk parasitiously. You know, you go staggering in English. In the Lubara, you walk parasitiously. Then we know there's a problem. Yeah? Parasitia, so you go, so you walk there parasitiously. Now, these issues affect everything around us. Now, looking at the stages, there are 4 stages. I can confirm here, Madam Dean, all of these students you see here, very humble as they look, all of them have taken alcohol, drug, and substance, at least. But they took, some of them have taken because they just want to experiment. That's why their colleagues told them, you just test. And all of them have tested. Yes. You just test. Sister, just test. Because here you just want to experiment. How does it taste like? How does it feel? If they say somebody feels high, how do they feel high? You just want to have that experiment. After that first experience, some people give up. Say that, I'm going to continue. Like me, when I tried this smoking, I smoked, I forgot to blow it out, and I swallowed. And in the process, I got choked. And the way I coughed, almost my eyes were coming out. That's how I was feeling. As if that was the last time I tried. You know, all of us, we've tried some of these things. We've tried experiment on stage. We just want to test how does it feel like. Number 2, regular use. After testing, now if it feels good for you, then some of you begin to have it regularly. Regular use. Yeah? Sister, do you still take wine regularly? Once a while. So, regular use. Somebody begins to have regular use. If you are drinking, regularly. If you are smoking, regularly. If you are eating marungi, regularly. Whatever substance that you are using, regularly. Right? Now, number 3 stage is abuse stage. With abuse, if you used to take 1 bottle, for example, and then you take 5, definitely whether you like it or yes, it will abuse you because you have abused it. Because of the way you walk, you will be abused. That's why somebody who has taken too much alcohol, some things are obvious when they abuse. Do we have a good Catholic in the house who has a good Catholic Bible? If it is not in your system, your body cannot function the way it should. So you must take it. That's why even I know students, if you give them food and alcohol, they will take alcohol. They leave food. Their students, if you give them opium and the food, they will take opium, they will leave food. If you give them food and marungi, they will pick marungi and they leave food. If you give them cigarettes and the food, they will leave the food and take the cigarettes. Why? For them now, their life depends on it. But not dependent. Why people taking drugs? I know all of you have the reasons you will give. But I know I will say these are the reasons, but these are just excuses. Peer pressure. Today, students of Muni University know that you cannot even you cannot have peer pressure. Why? You are not a tube. Because we are aware that you only put pressure in tubes, right? If a tube has no pressure, you must take it to the pump and then you must add some pressure. Maybe a bicycle tube, motorcycle tube, car tires. You must put pressure in those tubes, but you're not a tube. So from today, learn that since you're not a tube, you cannot succumb to peer pressure because you know who you are. Unfortunately, in church, we go to church, even tomorrow some of you will go, and sing nice songs, like, I know who I am, I know who God says I am. But when someone asks you, so who are you? You even don't know who you are. That's why among the local students, they will even say, Nimangwarako. These things actually happen. Yeah. So, but others say, I want to fit in. Why should you fit in? Be you. Others just want to rebel. They just want to be known for rebellion. You know the other guys take drugs and substances, then you want to make them friends, so you also join them. Others say they want to relax. They want to escape, they want to kill boredom, curiosity, experimentation. And many of you will claim it is because of too much stress that you're taking some of these substances. True or false? Because from the look, some of you look stressed. You know, when somebody is stressed, I was telling teachers on the other side, when somebody is stressed, they can't deny. Because number one, if you're a lady and you're using hair relaxer on your hair, you're stressed, even the hair will refuse to relax. Even when you're using hair relaxer. That's why there are times, even when you're very stressed, you bathe and water cannot even connect well with your skin. You know? Even when you try to smear, you're wasting your time. Some things are obvious. But we cannot address these issues. Don't allow stress to overpower you. You have the power to overcome stress. And please, stress does not have a medication in line with alcohol and drugs. Instead, you're adding more trouble to yourself. Of course, others just want to get that mind-altering experience. Like I said, sometimes it alters the mind. You just want to have, how does it feel to have an altered mind? You just want to experiment. And then, of course, to party, others think party has to go with alcohol and the drugs, right? That's why some people are here singing, they prefer singing the song, party after party. Party after party. But please, you have not come here to party. You've come to study. I've always come here for orientation for students, and I say, Muni University is your catapult. That catapults you to your destiny. So don't play around with your life here. Why? Because whatever you're going to learn from here, the thing that you're going to express here, the thing that you're going to learn from here is preparing you for the future ahead. So you should be able to take it here. It is only like to help you to take off to your destiny. So please don't allow those things to come through. Some of you take these drugs because you inherited it from your parents. Do you have dogs from home? Do you have dogs at home? Dogs? You have them at home? Some have, eh? Leave along these German Shepherds and those who are funny dogs. I want to look at our local dogs of West Nile. Do you have some of those? Ah, good. Anybody knows the father of that dog? Now I want to give you a scenario. When a dog is given birth and you see a male dog that comes, it is always said that that first male dog you see around is the father of those puppies. Number two, the dog you see, the male dog you see coming to play with those puppies is likely the father. That's the assumption. But now the question that I always ask is, if a puppy wants to sit, from whom does the puppy learn the sitting posture? From the parents, right? I want to ask the question, if your father ever smoked and then he threw away some leftover of the cigarette, what happened to that leftover? Let's be honest, what happened to that leftover? If your father ever drank alcohol and then he has drank his bottle and then there's a leftover in that bottle, what normally happened to that leftover? Yeah? Because here the principle here is monkey see, monkey do. Right? So some of us, we inherited drinking and some of these substances from our parents and relatives. We inherited it. Some because of occupation. Yeah? If you are a cook, is it possible for you to cook without licking your finger? In local acting we say, yes. If you are to cook, what the lecture is, you must taste the salt. Unfortunately, some of you, when you are cooking and you are testing the salt, you even get a dish to test the salt. It is no longer salt testing, it is eating. And then for others, it is because of the broken homes. And then of course others drink because of ignorance, or take substance because of ignorance. Of course then also curiosity. How does it feel like? I remember when CD5 was killing people here in Nairobi City a few years back. Some young men said they want to know if it is true that people die of CD5. And they bought the 5 and finished the 5, we buried them. We did the diet. So they became the learning aid. Because they wanted to feel how they can die if they drank CD5. Curiosity. Types of drugs, we have illicit drugs and illicit drugs. We have those drugs which are prescribed by doctors. They will tell you, if you have malaria, please take this, take this, take this, right? Those are illicit. Now we have the illicit. These are those that are not supposed to be taken, but people take it by force. Like here, we're telling you, please don't take this, but you're taking it by force. Right? Those are the illicit ones. And even you know it. That's why you don't want to take it in open. You hide it. Because you know it is the wrong thing. There could be some customers here. It is possible. So let's look at common abused drugs. Common abused drugs and their effect on the body and the mind. Let's look at some of them. Let me begin with alcohol. Which alcoholic drinks do our students of Muni take most? Let's be honest. You want to take, but you see others taking. Just mention. And when you are taking, it's not because, when you are mentioning it, it's not because you are the one taking, but the one you see students taking. look at that effect. And because you've mentioned those alcoholic drinks, it is true, we have them. Yeah? And by the way, Madam Dean, I brought some for them. Now let me be very free. Because they also hide it there where I hid it. There is this. That is a coffee. The boss, they talked about it. The speaker they talked about is here. The capital they say is here. And then some of them also take a ruler and the ruler is here. So, colleagues, why I picked interest in these particular drinks that you mentioned, and even many others, because you've mentioned some other ones, and you know them, right? Colleagues, one thing I want to say is these drinks are not healthy for you. Why? If I always say, if you are to eat and drink anything, and you are able to read, first read. Okay? First read. This is a ruler. And this ruler is a 40% alcohol in this 200 mils. 40%. This is written here bold. 40%. Spear, 40%. This is here written on it. Coffee, 40. This is written here. Boss, even when you're not a boss, but just want to feel a boss, also 40%. It is here. Kapisa, when Kapisa was first manufactured, it used to be around 5%. But now it is 13% here, as of today. And what is the impact? Let's look at this. We're going to analyze this picture to discuss these issues. Okay? Number one, I want to announce to us why you see that the stomach is big and is having issues with a solid or shrunk liver or liver cancer is this. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Ministry of Health has proposed to construct a hospital here in Muni. And the hospital is only for cancer. I don't know if you are behind the news or some of you have heard about it. Your news. Why? Cases of liver cirrhosis and cancer are high among young people and the population in West Nile, and the City in particular. And because of that, the project is actually going to start soon. I remember seeing on TV and even hearing on news and even read on papers how people came and even the official discussion were done from here. Now, why I also came with this, I asked for these glasses, is we are going to demonstrate some things. Because, you know, the truth you know is what will set you free. And when you are carrying practicals, there must be one for control. So this is going to work with this for control. Now, let me begin with the ruler. And while we are doing this, somebody who has a Bible on the phone can be able to get me some scriptures. This is a spear. Coffee. and boss. Now, colleagues, within 5 or 10 minutes, we shall be able to remove this piece of liver from these drinks. And then we compare with the original that we're going to see. And what is happening, we're looking at these problems on the body. We're also going to look at problems on the mind. If you have Good News Bible, open for me Proverbs 23, and we pick it from verse 29 up to 35. If you have Good News, open the Bible. And it begins with show me. Anybody there? Proverbs 23, begin from verse 29. Good News Bible, or Catholic Bible.
It says, show me someone who drinks too much.
Show me someone who drinks too much.
Who has to try out some new drink?
Who must try out some new drink? That's why there is a new one here. Coffee is here, Kabisa is here, Boss is here, Ruler is here, Torero is here, Spear is here. All the other drinks which are new in the market, they must keep trying it.
I will show you someone miserable.
I will show you someone miserable.
And sorry for himself.
Sorry for himself.
Always causing trouble.
Always causing trouble. Madam Dean, students who are always causing trouble, you know.
Always complaining.
Always complaining.
His eyes are bloodshot.
Other versions now says his eyes are red. If you read the one of Lukarati, it says Irmameleka. And actually you see with the red eyes, or red short eyes. Those are obvious things. I'm not the one saying it, it is the Bible saying it.
And he has bruises that
should have been avoided.
Yes.
Meaning, after drinking too much, he goes falling by himself. Nobody beats him. He goes falling by himself, then he gets bruises. Things that could have been avoided. Next.
Don't let wine tempt you.
Don't allow it to tempt you.
Even though it is rich rain. Though it sparkles in the cup.
Okay.
And goes down smoothly.
Goes down smoothly as you close your eyes.
The next morning you will feel as if you are being bitten by a poisonous snake. Weird sights will appear.
Weird sights will appear to now. We hear about psychosis, mental health issues now. You become psychotic. Weird sights will begin to appear. You see things which are not true. You see, you live in a little world. You see things that are not really there. Psychosis at work. Continue.
You will not be able to think or speak.
You can't think or speak
clearly
because your mental health has been affected. Your mind has been altered. That's why I love Catholic Bible and also that Good News Bible, though on few scriptures. Okay, continue.
You will feel as if you were out on an ocean.
You feel as if you are out in an ocean. Now, this is also still on psychosis because you are living in an unreal world. Because a normal human being does not feel that they are out of the ocean. Yeah.
Sick.
Swinging
high up.
Swinging high up on the tree. Because of yourself, you are living in an unreal world. And then what will you say?
In the rigging of a tossing ship. Continue. I must have been hit.
I must have been hit. But I don't remember. Continue.
I must have been beaten up. But I don't remember.
Why? You forget. And that is because of the mental health problem. Because now with the mental health issues, you can't remember anything. That's why many of you who have never drank or taken substances, you forget everything. You just say, all I remember is this, but then after that I can't remember anything. Yes, you are right. Because mental health crisis. That's why we had a boy in Malacha. I come from Malacha. A boy had 4,000. And then he began stopping vehicles that he wants to go to Kampala to buy it. 4,000! And remember, coming from Matatuaro is 5,000. So convincing the young man that, brother, what you have is not enough even to take you to Arua. He said, it's a lie. I have money, I want to go to Kampala to buy Fuso. But he had 4,000. Psychosis. Even here, madam, there are students here who don't have money. They pack papers in their wallet and make it appear as if they have too much money. And even they walk one-sided as if they are loaded. When they are very broke. Psychosis at work. And it is a trigger, by the way. Because psychosis is a trigger by substances, alcohol and drugs in most cases. Continue.
It ends like this.
Why
can't I wake up?
Why can't I wake up so I can have another drink? Going for hangover. That's why the people are now. Now let's go to other versions now. If you have NIV, read for me Isaiah 5, chapter 10. But if you have a look at the Bible, it is even much easier there. Isaiah 5, verse 10. Any version of the Bible, once you are there, you can just read for us. For us to be able to understand the problem we are dealing with. Isaiah 5, verse 10. Sorry, verse 11. Isaiah 5, 11. Woe to those who rise early in the morning, right?
And run after their dreams.
Woe to those who rise up early in the morning to run after their drinks. That's why I know students here, early in the morning, they wake up, the first thing they look for is drinks. In local it says, Julionzi, Benga to biti Jojo. Imamvua da famfuzo, Kabane. Now also go with that very verse. Help me to go to verse 22. There are students here who have become heroes of drinking and champions in mixing.
Woe to those who are heroes at drinking wine and champions at mixing drinks.
Another version. Yeah.
You are doomed.
You are doomed.
Heroes of the wine bottle.
Heroes of the world.
Brave and fearless when it comes to mixing drinks.
When it comes to mixing drinks, don't we mix these drinks? Don't we mix the drinks? We call it the party, right? Correct. There is nothing new under the sun. Mental health issues are recorded in the Bible very clearly, even all its problems. That's why I don't want to abuse you, but you give me Proverbs 20, verse 1. Any version. Proverbs 20, verse 1. What does they say, madam?
He said, wine is a mocker. Fear of glory, and whoever is led astray by them is not wise.
Another version. Yes? Proverbs 20, verse 1. Anybody there?
John says,
Wine
produces smokers, liquor leads to brawls, and whoever is led astray by drink cannot be wise.
Cannot be wise. Another version. Yes?
20 verse 1 says, drinking too much makes you loud and foolish. It's stupid to get drunk.
Drinking makes you what?
Drinking too much makes you loud.
It makes you loud. That's what I said. When you are drunk, three things happen: your body, your soul, and your body, your mind, and then you run away. That's why you become so loud. That's why some people after drinking they go shouting at night. And then says those who are like that are stupid. And then other version says they are foolish. And then other version says they are not wise. The one which says they are not wise is trying to use a polite language. But you know the opposite of not being wise is? Now I'll just bring in those few scriptures to try to get some few minutes so that we can be able to refer to our things here and we can be able to check. I've not talked here for more than 30 minutes. Sorry, more than 10 minutes when I just poured this, right? Let's check out. In the few minutes, in the very few minutes, I have this fresh one which I'm going to lay here for us to be able to observe. Let me begin one by one. Let me begin with the mighty ruler. This was the one for ruler. Let me remove the liver which was in the ruler. In the few minutes so far, let's see what has happened to the liver. Here it is from ruler. Let's check spear. The few minutes that we have just talked, see how the liver is cooking. This is the spear. The few minutes we are here, this is the boss. The few minutes we've talked here, let's check what is happening to the boss. Of course, I don't want to take a longer time because my time is not my friend. This is Kabisa. Those who want to take pictures, you can come and take the pictures. I have no problem. Here is Kabisa, also boiling our liver in the few minutes. And then coffee. Coffee has really boiled the liver proper. Now, if you have you want to take this picture, you can come and take it. In the few minutes, you see, some people have been told by doctors to their relatives that if they love their life, they must stop drinking because something is already happening to the liver. The liver is already getting damaged. The liver is being cooked. And we know that the liver plays a very big function in your body. Your liver is responsible for storing food. Your liver is responsible for removing the toxic things in your body. Your liver is responsible for manufacture of bile and so many other good functions, but are caused by this. And it is also on the record. By God's grace, I've traveled some parts of this world. In our neighborhood here in Kenya, there is a county called Murang'a. In Murang'a County, there was a declaration by the governor that any woman who gets pregnant, the government will take responsibility. But no women are going there to claim that money because the men are not able to do anything. Why? Even some of these things. That's why we are going to look at, there's a song which was produced in Yumbe. I don't like the song, but the song has some meaning, but no, I don't like it. I know many of you don't even know the verse, but you know the chorus. The verse is, Semegia Dona Medi Piagoro Marugia Chedera. Import is not coming through there. But then I know the verse you know very well is the part that you normally now sing a lot. Kumani na ngotile badura. You know the chorus. I don't know the song. The song is not. Anyway, but that's the reality. Maybe it has become important because of alcohol here. By the way, this was telling you something here. When a mother, in some of the cause of mental disorders, when a mother takes alcohol while she's pregnant, even the baby is affected. And they can be born with mental issues. That's why you even know people, once they take these drugs, when they take these drinks here, they become like a beast. It's like they have become insane. Why? Because mental health issues. Colleagues, as the Voice of Restoration, we are part of UAPA, and for the last few years, we've been trying to push a bill to control alcohol in this country. And we're doing it in good faith. And we're saying, let the government regulate, number one, the production. Number two, the sale, the promotion, the time for consumption, the advertisement around alcohol. But some people didn't see what we are saying, and they refused. In fact, as a matter of fact, Parliament threw that bill out. And when they threw it out, some people who knew what we were doing, they came and told us, you are fighting a dead fight. It won't work, but we believe it will still work. Why? If 65 gin was regulated and they were certified, we would not have lost people here in the university to 65 gin. Number two, all these alcoholic drinks, they are the ones responsible for the cancer rises, the issue of cancer, the issue of liver cirrhosis, the issues of health complications are all here. The accidents which are becoming rampant are because of here. The deaths, there are people who drink until they die. Unfortunately, somebody will say, with whom did they drink last? Because they always ask, they always want to claim somebody poisoned them. Yet they have to drug themselves to death. Yeah? They have to drug themselves to death. People drink until they die. It is enough. But then we begin to try to look for X-ray somewhere else. Colleagues, my role is to tell you the truth. The choice is yours. Marijuana, cannabis. I know there could be students here, maybe in this room or out of this room, but of Muni University here, who have been told if they take this, they can't fall sick. If they take marijuana, they become wiser. If they take marijuana, they will study very well, they will increase their wisdom. Let me tell you, that's the lie. Because once you take marijuana, your mind is altered. It alters your mind. It alters everything around you. That's why many times people end up with confusion and frightfulness. That's why some of you, after smoking your marijuana, you are quiet and you are withdrawn. Some of you, you become so suspicious. Some of you, you begin to see things others don't see. You hear things others don't hear. That's why some of you, even here it is flat, but when you are walking, it is like there are some heaps of like potatoes here. You keep jumping over heaps, but there's no heap here. Why? We are seeing things others don't see now. We are here, there's no snake here, but somebody can see a snake, a big snake moreover coming. There is one who, after smoking, he began laughing uncontrollably. We asked him, what's the problem? He said, can't you see that you guys are walking on the head with your legs up? And it was funny for him. Hallucinations and delusions become part of your life because you will see things others don't see. You hear voices others don't hear. And then also changes the user's ways of speech, thinking, even of actions. And also affects the user's intelligence. Learning ability is reduced. Poor judgment harms the brain, that's causing memory impairment. And then also even cancer becomes part of your life. Cocaine. I know some of you also use cocaine. Yeah. You saw that white thing which was That was cocaine. And I know some of you use it. Both by just testing or sniffing also, or injection. I know it. And some of the talk that when you take this, you become stronger. When you take this, you become like this. They have told you lies. That's why the problems are everywhere here. I remember in Koboko, one primary school, some boys used the cocaine. 17 of them. If you go to Abela Primary, that TV tracks on the compound were done by those small boys. They were in P7 by that time. So the head teacher called me, I went and said, by the time I went, they were now heavily sweating and they're putting those big trunks in the compound. I said, this is good exercise, but but I can tell you, it was a problem. There's one of the boys, the father had a swimming, he had a fish pond. The boy went in the fish pond at night and swam the whole night, and he kept praising himself that he was in a competition of swimming. The whole night the guy was just swimming in the fish pond. And he was cheering himself up. And then the other boy, for him, he went in the room, locked his house, locked the door. He began fighting with the wall. Because he was seeing people coming to attack him from the wall. So he was fighting with the wall. He fought and everywhere was injured. Until they said, this one is now more serious. So what happened? Until it's covered, they began to say, they were given something white. And they didn't know what it was, but they took it. The result, chaos. Tobacco. I know I have customers here. Even this, others will say, this call me, let me pass go and do something. Because in tobacco, there are two things. Because I have some customers here, and those who have also improved this one. Because the nicotine and the tar are there and the other gases. Because these things are here, and before you know it, it affects your life. It affects your lives. Colleagues, please, I beg. I beg. What's the summary? I want to bring summary of all this. Marungi, whatever. Number one, stomach ulcers are triggered by these drug substances. Tremors of the hand and the feet. We saw how the other man's feet were and the hands. Yeah. Impotence in men and even women. Abortion issues, infertility in women and men. Malformation of babies during pregnancies. Coma, that's why you have seen people who after taking their substances, they go into coma as if they're dead but not dead by the roadside. We've seen them, right? Even in death. That's why the Isaiah 5, please continue for me from that verses. Begin at Isaiah 5, continue from 11, and I'll push a bit there. Let's see some realities there. Because of drugs and substances, what happens? Anybody has it there? Isaiah 5, begin from verse 11, and proceed.
Woe to those who rise early in the morning to run after their drinks,
and stay late till they are drunk.
Stay out late at night till they are inflamed with wine.
Continue.
They have harps and lyres at
That is not music.
Tambour and flutes.
That is live band now at work.
And wine, but they have no regards for the deeds of the Lord, no respect for the work of his hand. Therefore my people will go into exile.
Our people have gone to exile and they have become prisoners.
For lack of understanding.
For lack of understanding and knowledge.
Men of rank will die of hunger.
Their men will die of hunger. I want to give you a basic answer here. I want to first pause there. Why the hunger? How much is this? Don't claim you don't know. You know it. How much is the coffee? How much is the boss? Huh? You know the prices, that's telling me. Nobody will judge you, we are learning. How much is it here? 1K, thank you. How much is the spear? 1K, thank you. How much is the ruler? 1.5, thank you. How much is Kapisa? 1K. How much are these in all? How much are these in all? 6.5. Okay. These are 6.5. Thank you. Now, assuming on a good day, how many bottles do you take of each of these young ones because they're cheap? On a good day. Sorry? I know. Let's begin from Christmas. On Christmas, you know how many you took. New Year, you know how many you took. Valentine, you know how many you took. Easter, you know how many you took. Even Heroes Day, you know how many you took. Even on your birthday, you know how many you took. But let's just go with average. Let's just go with this. 5.5. 6.55, sorry. 6.5. And if somebody has religiously given themselves to this, religiously, help me multiply 6.5 by 365 days in a year. 6.5 times 365 days. Basic. How much? How much is that? 2 million, how much? And this is on condition you want to vote for the other gender. On the condition you want to add the Nyamachoma. On the condition you not also add the transport in the fund for the other gender. We are taking the basic. Now imagine a student who has taken this for the last 5 years. Do that math by 5. By 5, how much is that? 11 million. But a student, moreover, for the last 5 years, on average, it could have been more because on other big days, we will buy the bigger bottles and even grades. Right? And even we buy the other bigger bottles, not all these young ones. Now that's why here Bible is saying that nobles will die of poverty. That's why many of you who come from families where this alcohol is drunk like there's no tomorrow. Even some of you could be here and you're struggling with the tuition. But somebody is religiously giving his money for the drinks and substances. Right? That's why poverty comes in. Continue, ma'am.
Therefore, the grave enlarges its appetite.
The grave does what? Enlarges its
appetite. And opens its mouth.
So that what happens in the grave, so that many of these noble men, what happens? They go down. That's what we're talking about death here. Where we have lost so many people to alcohol and the drugs. That's the reality. That's the point I wanted to bring out. And even you know in your own family, you could have punished some people because of these drugs and alcohol. And I'm sure if you know people who families that are very broke, they will one time tell me that there was a time they had somebody who used to be rich, but the person used to overdrink and they drank all the money and everything is now flat. Poverty is coming. And it is there written. Weight loss. Some of you, the way you have lost weight, it looks like. I'm not judging anybody though. Hypertension. Some of you have pressure. You're hypertensive. Of course, malnutrition. Because like I said, there are some of you, where there is the food and alcohol, or food and opium, or food and the marungi, you take those substances and you leave out the food. And then some of you, whenever since you reported here at Kapa, the music you have been playing is lonely I am not working. I'm on my own. Colleagues, it really pressed my heart. But what it is? Okay? How about mental health issues? That's why issues are happening here. Mental health issues are on the rise. If you just walk, even on Monday, if you just have time and you walk to a rural hospital mental health unit, you will find so many young people there. And the majority of them are there because of alcohol, drug, and substances. If you're in a road every day, you're in a road every day, every day in one street, if you're just in that street on every day, you will see a new face of a mentally ill young person. Both women and men. And it is 78% even more are having crisis because of alcohol, drugs, and substances. That's why I'm saying, please say no to what? Drugs. Socially, many of you grew up coming here from broken homes because parents have chosen something like this and other drugs, and therefore the family breaks. And when the family breaks, the pressure is on the children. Even right now, if we were to have time for one-on-one, or we were to have trauma healing, I can tell you, many students here will break down and cry because of abandonment, because of rejection by parents, because the parents chose these alcohol and drugs over some of you. In that when you ask for anything, they even abuse you. They can give you, but after they have quarreled and abused you. Poverty, we've talked about this already. Child abuse. It is like that many of us are traumatized. We have childhood traumas because people who abuse these drugs and substances, they abused us instead. Many of us have been through abuse of all kinds. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, all types of abuse, because for them they were under the influence of alcohol, drugs, and substances. Job loss, accidents, loss of respect, suicidal ideas, and many other things. We are seeing this with ourselves. Some of you are broken relationships because the other party uses this thing and for you don't. You don't. Therefore, they call you Pharaoh. You see, in my book, Overcome Rejection, I defined rejection in various ways. There are things that we do that attract the rejection. Yeah? Our behaviors, our habits. There are things that happen, we invite it on ourselves. That's why I have a full chapter on the personal behaviors contributing towards your rejection. A full chapter. Of course, there are some things which are not there. You don't have any idea about it, but people reject you. For example, ladies, you are here, not like gentlemen who are here. Most of the girls, even in this campus, will even tell you, I can't date a short guy. Yeah, sure. Apart from brother and sister. Let's say the same thing. Now, you are a gentleman, God made you in his own image, but well summarized in the height. And you see how somebody is not going to reject you because of your height. And you have no clue about this height issue. It is by God that you are that size. The poor stature. Somebody can reject you because of your age, that you are still too young. I know you have seen some of those answers, right? Maybe because you have a sickness, and then they don't want to meet with you and they reject you because of your condition, of your health condition. Maybe it could be because of racism. One day, I even happened here. I am a dark-skinned Ugandan who comes from West Nile in Uganda. I was visited by those light-skinned color from other parts of the same country in Uganda. So one day there was a girl I wanted to marry. So when we went for the visit, you know when you in some tribes you first go for visit or kuchara. So we go for visit, and then the auntie said, it is going to rain. And it was shining that day. And they said, it is going to rain. And we didn't understand anything. And for us, we finished the visit, then we left. So one of my colleagues asked, did you hear what they said? I said, no. So then I told that what they were referring to is that you are as dark as the cloud that brings rain. I never lost my color. Even after when I'm in a rock, people just say, hey, Juba direct. Don't you know? Now when they say that I don't respond to their Juba direct, then they say, hey, Arua. I never chose my color, right? There are things that you didn't choose, but now you have to that because of those things. And many other things. But the point here is, we can make things happen. I know some of you have been through drugs for various reasons. Yeah? I know some of you have been through drugs for various reasons. I have some money here. I have some money here. I know ladies know how to check money, right? But even men know. Let's go check if this money is a good one. Now, I have some 50K here. Yeah? Very new. I got it. And I know some of you've been abusing these drugs because of the trauma you've suffered before. Some of you because of the stressful thing that you think you have gone through. But still, what's the problem? Don't worry. I hope you're observing what is happening to the money. You're observing it? Now, I want to ask a question. Does what I have done to this money change the fact that it is still 50,000? Is this money still useful? Yes. After it has been torn in pieces and after it has been squeezed, yes. Maybe even step on it as well. Yes. Can I wait away now? I want to ask a question. If we want to use these two pieces of money now, what should we do to it? What do? We get a sellotape and then we join it. Any other option?
We take it to the bank.
We take it to the bank. Very good. You take this money to the bank the way it is, the bank will give you a new note of 50,000. Oh, better still, because you do not have time to go to the bank right now. You just get it and you unfold it. And what do? You get your gun, or you get some glue, or you get a sellotape, and you do what? You sellotape it. Now question, has the value changed?
No.
Has the value changed? No. Is it still a legal tender?
Yes.
So what am I saying? Colleagues, you could have gone through some crisis where your life has been torn. You feel your life has been torn. People have stepped on you. People have squeezed you. People have done all kinds of things to you. And because of hopelessness, because of depression, because of the stress, because of the anxiety, you decided to manage by your own on either alcohol or drugs and substances. But I want to let you know, they still help. Just like you said, you can take this money to the bank and they give you new note even without returning it. Or you can still sellotape it. But I can tell you, it still works. That's why I want to encourage you. How do we then address this issue? Number one, address the possible underlying issues. What is it for you that has caused this drug abuse? For you, what is it like? For you, what is it like? Address that issue. When you address that issue, you actually realize that actually these drugs and substances will all change in your life. Yet you can actually have a better strategy of coping with this crisis. Number two, just like we said, you need a sellotape. In this case, this money cannot sellotape itself, right? Somebody must take the responsibility to sellotape this money. What am I saying? Please, if your life has been torn like this, you cannot fix it by your own. You need a counselor. You need a psychologist. You need somebody who can help you fix this mess. And I want to tell you something here. Without a mess, there is no message. Right? Without a mess, there is no message. A message always comes because of a mess. You might think your issue is now too much. No, it's not too much. I want to ask you, why are you the way you are? You are as sick as your deepest secret that you have kept to yourself. I want to say it again. You are as sick as your deepest secret that you have kept to yourself. You could have gone through a lot of issues where your life has been torn like the way I told this man. But I can assure you, when you open up to somebody, when you open up to a colleague, when you open up to the school counselor, when you open to the dean, when you open to any staff, or you open up to any mental health practitioner, you can be helped to recollect yourself. By the way, I also help to recollect myself. And as a part of the recollection, for me, the more I try to talk, the more I cried. And it was also okay for me. And if you say a colleague crying, don't tell them to stop crying. Encourage them to cry more. That is a part of healing. All these books have come from my painful experiences that I've suffered. The traumatic experiences I've been through. I know what it means to be broken. 8 heartbreaks, but I'm very married now with the 4 children. And I'm still moving because I'm still young. I still have capacity for more children. I still have potential. Even when at the first you can still thrive amidst the mental health challenges, you can still thrive amidst the mental health challenges. Number one, please speak up. Don't die in silence. Speak up. In as much as others may judge you, still. I know because of the trauma you have been through, because of the things you have developed behaviors that are forcing you to act in or to act out. What I mean when you act in? When you act in, you develop behaviors that destroy your own life. That's how you end up with these habits of drinking. Because you are causing harm to yourself. You are causing harm to your mental health. Right? You are acting in. Some of you have become very generous with your body. So anybody who wants. And because of this, because you are hurting yourself, Many times, even when it's not a Friday, for you, your Friday is always. I know. There are those boys whose Friday are always down. They don't want to put it up. Yet you're a student. You know, Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone. Not for a student to be alone. Read your Bible well again. It's not good for a man to be alone. Not it's not good for a boy or a student to be. So you are still a student, so why don't you want to be alone? But many times because of pressure, because of the experience that we've been through. But I want to announce to you, help is available.